All right, guys, welcome to Top Deck Heroes.
Hello! We're back for our second night of the Top Deck Heroes set review. Hello to everyone out there in the chat. As usual, we have your two favorite hosts, me, Sean O'Brien, and...
Me, Kevin Broberg. There we go. Got our spoilers back.
All right. To bring everyone up to pace, we're going to continue where we left off last night. Same rules as before. We will read off the card and start a 5-minute timer to keep things going. Kevin Broberg is going to read all the odd-numbered cards and give his commentary first, and then I'll have a chance to respond. I'll read the even-numbered cards and get my chance to go first, and then Kevin will respond. Even though we didn't really keep too well to that last night, we just kind of talked.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's super important to make this ultra structured or to kind of make it like one side presents the case and the defense cross examines or anything. I think it's just whoever reads the card gets a chance to put their 2 cents in first. Um, so yeah, you want to get started?
Yes, well, Dr. Wily's challenge is an odd-numbered card.
Yep. All right. And actually, real quick, we also have a countdown list of all the other cards that are in the set, so you can see what's coming up in the near future. And we also have a 5-minute timer on every card. At 5 minutes, we have a hard cutoff. We go to the next card no matter what. All right, let's get started. Dr. Wily's challenge. I don't have to start this yet, actually. So we start the timer after the card has been read. This is a 2 difficulty, 5 control foundation. Fine stats. It's gonna if it's nothing special until it does something special. It's got a 3 high block, which is nice. It's got, very importantly, ally and desperation 0 for keywords, so it's a bit unusual in that way. And further unusualness, after it's destroyed during an attack, that attack gets either -2 speed or +2 damage. And then additionally has a plate ability E-commit. Your ally attack gets +2 damage. So this card would be a bit easier to review if we had all of the Dr. Wily stuff fresh in our memory from yesterday. But I recall that some of the cards really cared about having having a lot of ally cards in your deck. Some of them cared about obviously destroying foundations because that's sort of Dr. Wily's thing. And yeah, this can be a very strong role player. As a common, it might be really exciting to play this in draft and get like 8 copies of it and just always be able to -2 speed or +2 damage attacks. And yeah, I think it's gonna be an important role player. You're gonna be happy to have 4 or 16 or 300 copies of this card in your collection because you'll be able to put it in a lot of decks. Because I think this card is very, very good.
So I feel like this card is kind of a leftover from the first Dr. Wily, because it says after it's destroyed during attack, that attack gets -2 speed or +2 damage. And I feel like that the design team may have designed this card with the intent of for it to be used to mitigate the 2 speed you are going to give an attack if you used Dr. Wily's enhanced defensively rather.
I mean, sure. I think that this is great as -2 speed whenever you want it, really.
Yeah, I mean, destroying foundations isn't difficult to do. Plus, it's not like Dr. Wily's E became only playable on your attack. It just doesn't do anything if it's not your attack.
Yeah, so if you're worried about defending yourself, it's actually a lot better than it used to be because now Dr. Wily can just E-destroy and have no drawback.
Mm-hmm. I like the desperation 0 on it, only because I mean I like how desperation can kind of change things late in the game. What I don't like when desperation's used is if things start getting like desperation abilities, because usually desperation abilities are really good and they make the game stop going.
Yeah, I
Such
think that
as cards behind this.
Yeah, I think the desperation ability on this card is not going to come up terribly often. It's not going to have a big impact on very many games, just because how if you're in desperation, it's probably mid-late game, and how many foundations are you really playing on that turn? You can play this as your 4th card and pass it on a 4-check, but are you really playing out 5 foundations on turn 6 without getting killed? So.
Well, if you found a way to draw like 30 cards, maybe.
That's true. If you maximal laser and pick up 2 or 3 copies of this, that could be really, really relevant in that
Mm-hmm.
case.
Well, I remember, I played a Maximum Laser deck where it ran copies of the 0 difficulty Kyo card that you turned it face down, and I forget, something good happened, and then I put it in my hand and played simply because it was 0 difficulty.
Oh yeah, that was that Beast of Prey?
Yeah, that was the one that made things ignore progressive difficulty, and then I would
Yeah.
just pick it up later with. So I mean, it could see maybe some play in that way, but I think more often than not, people are going to forget about the Desperation Zero.
Yeah, or I think that maybe there'll be some cards that are, like the old Vice character, I think, where it just said discard a desperation card, draw two. And so if you care about desperation for that reason, it could be really good. Actually, my
Mhm.
old Evil Mature deck would absolutely be thrilled about this. The promo
Unfortunately,
that's
she's
rotated and
gone
gone.
to
Yeah.
extended land.
I think it's interesting that this card, offensively, it just adds a ton of damage to your ally attacks, which are kind of what ally attacks are already good at. They're usually pretty big, but relatively slow, relatively easy to block. So, if you start laying out
Bigger.
some guts cannons, maybe you'll be able to kill someone for sure once they run out of those mid blocks.
Hmm. All right, so let's move on to the next card.
All right, premeditated attack.
All right, so this attack is a 2 difficulty 5 check with a +3 mid block with Death, Evil, and Water. Once again, an ally card. After this foundation is destroyed, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's an ally card, you may add it to your hand or staging area face down. So, unless you're doing things with an ally theme, this card is blank. Honestly,
Yeah,
this is a card you gotta design. You gotta design your deck around allies if you ever want to put this card in your deck.
well, actually, it's not quite blank. It's actually a lot like the asset we talked about, Skull Fortress 2 yesterday. Uh, if you just want to reveal the top card of your deck, you get that no matter what.
That's true. I mean, if you can find a way to destroy it, which there are enough ways to do it, especially if you're playing Doctor Wily, you can just see what's chilling there. But if you really want to get the full value, the deck's got to be built around allies.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm imagining some kind of dream scenario where you have a copy of this, and then you destroy it, and you reveal another copy of this, and then you add it to your staging area face down, and then you play Iori's Yaotome attack and unflip it, and then destroy it again, and then reveal a third copy. Yeah, yeah. This is unrealistic and also not that good.
I mean, I guess the real dream is to destroy it for something and then reveal like a Dark Side Master. Ooh, and put that in your hand.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Put a Hell Dunk in your hand.
Yeah, actually, that's really good.
Put a Psycho Medley 13 in your hand that doesn't match symbols.
Put a guts cannon. Finish
Put
him
a Guts
off.
Cannon in your hand.
Actually, oh man, yeah, this is actually really great because I remember Skull Fortress. It always puts it in your staging area, but this gives you the choice. So if you reveal another premeditated attack, you might say, I'm happy to just check a 5, or if it's an
Mhm.
attack, you can put it in your hand, and now it's available for you to start beating down right away. So
Yeah, and with this card, you can just leave it there.
yep. So yeah, this is definitely another build around me. Kind of like we have role players. Putting this in your staging area with Capsule Zap seems really nice. And
Hmm.
I was thinking Merciless Master with this card could be really great.
Blurred Visionary mentioned that with this card, if you self-destruct, you may get a bonus foundation out of it
Oh, not bad, not bad.
if you're lucky.
It's a little risky, but I can take that. All right, on to the next.
Yes.
Let me pull up that window. All right, we have the Mysterious Mr. X. Oh man, so this card, I am fortunate to be able to read this one off to you all. So this one's a no block, 1 difficulty, 4 control foundation, Dr. Wily symbols, no ally keyword this time. But it's got an incredible ability in exchange. So it says enhance once per turn, discard a card, add 1 foundation from your discard pile to your staging area, and then destroy it. So this just lets you turn on every single card we just read. You just get all these destroy effects right away at the cost of discarding a card. This also works great with older cards like Glacial Assault or even Hizoku Prince, just things that want to be destroyed. They give you something when they get destroyed. This just turns that on for the cost of 1 card. You can pitch Balance Fighters to it. I think that this is going to be a card you're going to see a lot of. That's just really all there is about it.
And don't forget, there were a couple of cards in the last set in World of Indies that also you get effects after adding them to your staging area and destroying it.
Yeah, absolutely. Claws of Malphase is another one that just is an extra kicker on top of any of this. So you discard a card, you destroy a foundation that triggers destroying foundations during enhanced steps. You get ±2 damage from that.
Yeah, that seems really good. And this card is at rare. The only thing I really would have liked to have seen is, considering that it is a 4 check, I would have liked to have seen a block,
No, it's
or I
this
would
this
have
card's
liked.
perfect. This card's like you can't put a block on your engine cards. Like I think this is a this is just telling you put this card in your staging area and win because you put it in your staging area. Like blocks just it's a distraction.
Blurred Visionary is mentioning K-Dash's glove with this, and that would be really cool if you use Mysterious Mr. X to dial up the foundation you want, and then respond with K-Dash's glove to destroy K-Dash's glove instead,
Substitute
and then you get to
destruction.
keep the
Wow,
foundation that you wanted.
that's
Huh?
insane. That's another multiple silent assassin approach.
Yeah.
Because this
And we
is
talked about
amazing.
how great, getting multiple copies of unique foundations off in the same enhanced step or the same turn is really good.
Man, I'm gonna build the most fun Kadath deck that just has 4 silent assassins and like silent assassins use 6 times per enhanced step.
That is going to be a good time.
That's fancy.
Any
All
other
right.
thoughts on the Mysterious Mr. X, Kevin
We
Berber?
have already moved on. You're up.
Have we? All right, the power of dark energy. 3 difficulty, 4 check with a +3 mid block, death, evil, and water. After this foundation is destroyed, if you have no momentum, add an ally attack from your discard pile to your momentum. And then first F destroy. For the rest of this turn, whenever you play an ally attack, it gets +2 speed, and you may change its attack zone. So this card, I think, is what's going to really actually help push Dr. Wily over. Because if he's going to be playing a lot of allies, typically the ally attacks are big and kind of slow, but giving them 2 more speed and then knocking him off zone, that's really going to make Capsule Flamethrower, I think, a lot better and take it out of the status of the worst Flying Fortress Buster.
Yeah, this card is insane. Like
Now,
this is an ultra rare foundation I want to crack 4 of. I'll put it that way.
and this is an ultra rare foundation that's not unique, and we haven't had that in a long, long time. Probably not in the modern era of UFS.
Yeah, the last one I can think of is probably Quick Exit, but I'm sure I'm missing one. I must be missing
Oh,
one.
you are correct. Quick exit. I mean, that's not really in the modern era.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, so one quick thing about this before we get on to rarity subjects, I really like how it's not unique, but both sides of it kind of don't stack. Like if you have 3 copies of this in your staging area, you can't first F more than once, and if you you self destruct, you still only get 1 momentum.
Luchador just remind us that fighting as one was also not unique.
Oh, there you go.
But I don't see pretty much anything. I mean, for a long time before that, till quick exit and paying respect to your ancestors as an ultra rare foundation that wasn't unique. So this is the second one in the modern era of UFS. And I suspect that this card, people are going to want to have 4 copies of it. It's going to be a $12 or $13 card at least all day.
Yeah, this card is incredibly good. Like turning Mysterious Mr. X, like then you discard a card and get a momentum right away. That is a very very powerful engine. The obviously this +2 speed and off zone is insane for all of these glacially slow mid ally attacks. I mean the big question to me is, can you build an ally deck that's not going to just lose if you put on S-class hunters your Power of Dark Energy every turn and prevents you from ever activating this? Like what's your plan B? But this is real power right here.
The power of dark energy. Well, let's move on
All right.
to the next card, the castrated character.
All right, the old Gyro man. All right, so he's a 6-hand size character, 26 vitality, air, all, and evil. We refer to him as castrated because he was previously spoiled in some measure and had a radically different set of abilities. But now his abilities are simply one enhance your turn, and once per turn, add 1 card from your hand to your card pool face down, and you get to draw 2 cards. So this is a pretty interesting ability. It's not overwhelmingly powerful. I'll tell you that right up front. Just as a quick analogy here, you could lose 6 vitality and have that ability turn on during your draw step at no cost if you played Jiffany Jamper instead. You could get a different ability that's a bit you also play Joe and have two of these same symbols, in fact, or QB, another 7 hand size, only 6 less life, 20 vitality, and actually get the same three symbols with some neat momentum and damage manipulation going on. Uh, yeah,
Yeah, I
so
mean,
if if
this
you
guy's just bad.
if you want to play Gyro Man, you have to be getting paid off for paying that cost somehow, or for drawing 2 cards, I guess, during an attack. So if you want to be looking at cards like Zoe's support or his own support that pay you off for having a face down card in your card pool and using that as a resource somehow. Um, I think that the reason they scaled back what was available to him before was that previously this ability was playable any number of times on any attack, and that was extremely good with cards like Apple a Day, which turned those face downs in your card pool into a lot of momentum really quickly.
Hmm. I mean, during spoiler season, I had said this card was bad compared to the Gyro Man that was spoiled during the World Championship in Las Vegas, and I remember the company, some employees of the company thought that I was very tough in my wording, and they promised, hey, just wait till you see his support. And as we're going to see, I don't think his support really does enough to justify him being just worse than Jiffany Jamber.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be an uphill battle to make a Gyro Man deck that really um, outshines other options that are available. But I mean, maybe he'll be the newest entry in the Quick Man challenge, where you take a underrated character and then try to beat people up with it.
We'll have to wait and see.
All right, so you want to read off Hanging Gardens, his uh, next card?
Hanging Gardens. This is a 2/5 asset with a +2 low block with air, all, and evil, and the terrain keyword. Our commit, after you make a check, it gets +2 for each face down card in your card pool. And then discard a momentum to draw a card playable by either player, playable while committed. This card, I think, is super duper good. But as far as being making Gyro Man playable, it's super duper good in pretty much everybody, especially if you're playing a deck that's going to be playing lots of multiple copies. Like, I can't wait to try to build an Iceman deck with Hanging Gardens.
Yeah, so I really like the design of anytime an action kind of like this checks two of my boxes for designs I really like in general, where it tells you to do something a little bit offbeat, get a lot of face down cards in your card pool, and then it's an asset that helps you pass control checks once you did that. So it does, and it just does it in a different weird way. Like if you're blocking, you're probably never going to be able to tap this for value. If you're not getting any face downs in your pool, it's not going to do anything. But if you do, it pays you off at a great amount. Especially, yeah, as you say, anything you can like resolve a multiple two with this, that's just incredible.
Yeah. And then discard a momentum to draw a card, I think, is fantastic both as an offensive or defensive ability. And you could be in a place where you're on a kill turn and you may have to decide whether or not to play the pitch momentum to draw a card first so your opponent can't.
Yeah, that's one interesting. It's one kind of interesting facet of a lot of terrain cards is that enhances are still only playable once per enhanced step, even if either player or both players can play them.
Yeah, so that's going to make for an interesting challenge. And I think this card is going to see play. I think it's solid enough to be in decks, especially decks that are going to have face down cards in their card pool for whatever reason.
Yep. It's also got a strong block. +2 low is great on a permanent. And I mean, some decks might just want it to be able to destroy their opponent's terrains too. So yeah.
Yeah, the terrains in the set, I think, overall are very, very good. And it may be time to actually run terrains just so you can keep a terrain that's beneficial for you in play.
Yep. Lots of things to like about this card. So we're gonna move on to the next card, Gyro Attack. So this is a 5 difficulty, 3 control attack with multiple 1 and the ranged keyword already. It's going to be a decent candidate to use with Hanging Gardens or Gyro Man or whatever. But it gets even better. It has an enhance, add 1 face down card from your card pool to your momentum. This attack and its multiple copies get +2 speed. So it suddenly turns in from a 2 speed mid for 5. It's got a +3 mid block. I think I skipped over that. And it suddenly turns into a 4 mid for 5, which is a world of difference, really. Cards like Templar or Ever Hopeful really make mid attacks very bad in standard right now, and making it so that your opponent will have to commit some measure of resources to block even with those. Uh, that's a huge step up in playability. And
Mhm.
this is a multiple attack which pays for its own multiple cost, which is always just a really good place to be. Um, Gyro Man obviously really likes it. He can just play it as a form, and boom, 4 mid for 5 times 2, and he got to draw 2 cards. Um,
In the chat, people are mentioning Guts, man. I think uh, Gyroman's support is going to work really well with Guts because he can generate face downs on command that also make your
yes,
opponent stunned too.
good lord.
So
I
once again,
remember
just
I remember when the set was first spoiled, or actually over the weekend I was talking to my teammates for nationals, and we were just like looking over like what might be interesting, and I remember uh, seeing these evil cards and saying and like jizzing my pants over Gutsman, and I think this was the card that prompted that the most. Um, yeah, 4 mid for 8 that costs stun 4 mid 8 stun 2 that comes with a 4 mid 8 stun 2 and only costs 3 total progressive difficulty is outrageous.
mhm, ridiculous. So I know those folks down in Maryland, had that Gutsman deck running around terrorizing people for a minute. I think that deck just got a little bit better with this card.
Yeah, well, I think the evil symbol has been underplayed, and this card might be what it takes to bring evil back out of its doldrums. As far as Gutsman's concerned, anyway.
Da-da.
All right, want to move on?
Move on.
All right, you got Gyro Blade.
Gyro Blade. So this is a 3 difficulty, 3 check